Hey everyone, this is Rob Lashley with MMORPGcom, and I'm here with Kelly Heckman and Brian Green, and we're going to talk to you today about Storybricks. And real quick, Brian, if you want to introduce yourself, and Kelly.
Hi, my name is Brian Green. I often go by the pseudonym Psychochild Online. I've been an MMO developer since 1998. I worked on the game Meridian 59. I've been working on Storybricks for quite a while now. We're kind of a small startup with huge ambitions. We want to kind of bring storytelling and role-playing to MMORPGs.
My name is Kelly Heckman. I'm our community director. I've been in video games for about 10 years, wrote as Ophelia in the gaming press, and was a community manager for several MMOs. And now I'm representing Storybricks, and really excited about where we're going with this because it's something completely new.
Well, I thank you guys for taking the time to spend with us today. And for those of you guys in the audience, you can see on my screen I have Storybricks. It's I guess an early alpha build, but it's out there for everybody to go ahead and play. You can find it at play.storybricks.com, and you can sign up and play at your leisure. I've actually already gone in here, and I've started to mess around with some of the features, and you basically would go to write your own story, and you can see I'm already into one. Now, one of the things that we talked about before the stream began was, Brian, do you want to go ahead and tell people kind of what we're looking at here and why it is the way we're looking at it?
Right. So, like I said, kind of our ambition is to bring storytelling and role-playing to MMORPGs. And one of the things that we looked at is players telling their own stories. Like I said, I ran the game Meridian 59 for several years, and it was a hardcore PvP game. And one of the things I noticed was that the most interesting stories that the players shared were their own individual stories. It wasn't the kind of a juvenile fantasy setting that the original developers had come up with. It was oh man, did you see when that guy jumped me, and we were in a guild war, and he was casting that spell, and I disrupted him, and people tend to really put a lot of stock into their own personal stories. And so we kind of looked at, how can we allow people to tell stories? So Storybricks is essentially the result of that. We were looking at a visual editing language called Scratch by MIT Labs, and so we kind of use that as a viewer, as a inspiration for the Storybricks visual language. So without having no programming, we allow you to edit characters, essentially, edit the AI that drives them. And so, you had some kind of Storybricks already set up for some of the characters, but with the editor, you can drop a character right into the world. I currently have this kind of static world here, but this is mostly just for testing.
Mm-hmm.
We're working on a system that allows people to also edit the terrain too. So, but you place characters, and then you use the Storybricks to set their emotional states, set relationships, give them items, and by basically adding all these different elements, you can start telling your own story.
Okay, well, I kind of hit it, but I was just showing around people some of the world while you were describing the Storybricks. Right here underneath the character selects, you can see here I have essentially the start of a tree, I guess would be the best way to describe it, of an interaction between a player and a guard. And the guard in this case is Arno, which is this little guy hiding back here in the corner. And I think I just moved him. We'll bring him to the forefront here. Front and center, Arno. Let everybody see who you are. He's taking a bow. As you can see, I can actually orientate the direction with which he's facing. And I believe they have AI that once we actually start the story, that they'll wander around or...
Yeah. So basically, the way we have it set up right now is each character has a certain type. So all guards will have kind of a certain personality, and they'll act a certain way. So guards tend to be very dutiful. They tend to be very formal, and then when they meet with people basically of higher social standing, they'll be very they'll salute them. If they meet people of lower social standing, they tend to be they tend to be a little less formal, a little less deferential.
Something you might want to try before you run your story is making another story and simply dropping some NPCs into the world. And when you do so, they all come with those predefined feelings about different other NPCs, and you'll be able to watch them interact with each other without ever having scripted any of that yourself. They just know that, you know, how a guard should be deferential to a noble. A noble is probably disdainful to a citizen, and they'll just act as flavor automatically before you ever assign a brick to them.
Yeah. So, you know, the goal of the system essentially is that we wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to create stories. So, you know, the more bricks you add, basically the more detailed the story can be. But if you add less bricks, the system will kind of fill in some of the details for you. Like Kelly said, you can drop a character right into the game, and they become essentially a flavor character.
Okay, well,
and then
why don't we go ahead and do that? Then let's take a. Sure. I don't have a merchant in yet. Let's see. Let's actually place the merchant so he's in the game. And now we have a merchant, and he has a name. It's Malvin, I guess. Can I actually change his name to whatever I want?
Yep.
Now he would be the corrupt merchant.
Okay. Well.
Wait. What?
All right. You know, I would have made Kelly, but you know, there's not any girls in the game yet.
No, not yet, but we do have artist Liz Danforth and Don Bluth, animator from Space Ace and Dragon Slayer, as well as The Secret of Nim and All Dogs Go to Heaven, on board working with us as advisors for our animations, because women are very difficult to animate well, and so we've brought them on board to help us get through that process. So right now all you're seeing is the male characters.
Yeah, one of the things we didn't want to do is, you know, just add female characters and give them male animations. You know, we really want, you know, the animations, if I can touch upon this really quickly, the animations are really important to us, because one of the things we focus a lot on is the emotional state of the characters and the relationships between them. So we took a lot of time to make sure that the even this very early version, we took a lot of time to make sure that the animations, you know, are as high quality as we can possibly make them, like, so that they communicate the emotions. And again, that's one of the great things about having Don Bluth, you know, because he's an old school animator originally from Disney, but also he's done a lot of animated features on his own. He can basically have him as an advisor for the animation specifically, so that we can, you know, really communicate emotion through the animations of the characters. Just
so you know, the females being absent wasn't a poke at you. It was a joke back to one of your YouTube videos that you just recently put out.
Oh,
yeah. So, it was pretty funny. I just wanted to bring it up.
It's well, I mean, it is an important thing for us. You know, we want to, you know, we are a small company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're you know, less than a dozen people, even including part-timers. So one of the things we want to make sure that, you know, that we do have plans to add the females. The female characters, we just have we have to prioritize the male characters. You know, the artists were able to develop the male characters a lot faster. So, and then, you know, like I said, we have a couple. The artist Liz Danforth is, you know, she's an old school tabletop RPG artist, you know, from way back from Tunnels and Trolls, and she's also done art for like Magic the Gathering cards. So I'm really excited to be working with her, and she definitely has a flair for creating female characters.
Well, we will make you not necessarily aggressive, but you will tell Arno, the guard, whenever he approaches you, to get away from you. So that's pretty much, I guess, about as easy as that to make the interactions. But let's say that I wanted, the premise of the story so far for the audience is it's not very complex. It's that I'm going to have the player have a curse, and he needs to find an item to remove the curse. And one of the guards has the item, and you have to retrieve it from the guard. So I kind of set that up in this original chain, and we'll see if that works. It might not. I might have to reiterate it, and we'll come back and polish it up and see if it works or not. But I want to have like another guard or the merchant allude to the fact that Arno has it if I go up to try to interact with them first. So we'll start a new brick, and the subject would, I guess, be the guard, and we'll say it's Bijami, and I want him to tell the player So would that be like responds to with?
Yeah, response to interaction, yeah.
Okay.
So basically, then you pick an interaction, so if it's greeting or conversation, so you probably want conversation in this case.
So have a conversation.
Yeah, then so whenever somebody goes up and picks the conversation option, what does he say?
There we go.
Okay. Yep.
Now close the tray.
So,
close the story.
And yeah, exit the editor, the button on the upper right-hand corner there.
Okay.
And then pick story to play.
You'll see all the stories we've had gathering throughout the day, so you need to scroll there in alphabetical order. Excuse me.
I appreciate it. Skywise is curious, what formats do you have your 3D assets in? Anybody know?
Sadly, I'm a programmer, not an artist, so I'm going to say the pretty one. Sorry.
And they're not our final assets, we can't tell you that. These are, we needed to put out a public alpha on a web client that was small enough for people to use and use well. And these aren't the assets that we used for our private alpha. We're looking better than this, and we know that we're not going to launch with these as our final assets. So, although I don't really have an answer for you, I can tell you that these aren't the final assets for the game.
He liked your answer anyways. I got a chuckle out of him. Okay, so this is me, the player. I have more hair than I do in real life in the game.
I have a longer beard, so it's fine.
Yeah, I saw a video of you. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Well, you're friendly enough. You wave back to me. Let's see now if Arno will come wandering over here and get his head bit off by you.
So while you're waiting for Arno, if you click on yourself and change your predisposition to, say, to angry, then greet Psychochild. Or converse or whichever.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have to see him.
So you notice the animation is different, and then he reacts differently. He reacts to your anger with his own anger. And if you walk with the character, you'll see that the character now has a very different, he has a very different walk animation reflecting his mood. Where he's stomping around a lot more now because he's angry. And then basically, if you set your mood, everything about you should change. If you go back to happy, you're going to walk more appropriate to your mood. And then you also notice that some of the interactions are different. If you're angry, you're not going to offer to help people. You might request help from people, but you're not going to offer to help people. So.
We don't want to talk to Arno just yet because Arno has the item we're looking for. Let's see, who was it that also had the AI? I think it might have been Johnny. They saluted each other.
Yes. So the guards are going to be, like I said before, they have their own personality. They're going to be formal to each other. They're going to be very, but then again, you can also add your own bricks. So if you want, say you wanted a guard to be less formal, you could basically put bricks in stating that.
What about combat? Is there combat bricks?
There's not combat currently. Basically, like I said before, we're a very small company, so we really have to focus on what we want to do well. And like I said, I've been developing MMOs since 1998. Combat system is something I can design in my sleep. It's something we could throw in there pretty quickly. I think for some of you old school MMO players out there, you might remember A Tale in the Desert, where it was they didn't have a combat system, but one year for April Fool's Day, he threw in a combat system into the game. Basically that's kind of the same, just to show he could do it. It's not that he couldn't do it, but he could do it. He just didn't want that in the game. That's kind of the philosophy we're looking at right now. If we're, the purpose of this alpha of the test is to get player feedback. If people say, hey, we want a combat system, that's something we'd be able to throw in. But right now, our focus has been on the editor, on the bricks, on the storytelling, because we see that as the much harder part.
Well, apparently, little to my knowledge, we put in stealth as part of Arno's script, because
He may have gone walking
there we go.
out of the area off to the...
He's gone rogue.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw him. He's up over here, I think, hiding because there was a fourth. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Again, the guards will patrol. You know, the different characters have their own different personalities. But yeah, so you see, you know, you converse with him, and he tells you exactly what you typed in there.
I don't remember that. I must have done something wrong, so now I'll have to go out and iterate on that, because conversing doesn't do anything, and then I offer him help, and he's like, there's nothing that I need.
Yeah.
So, I obviously set my bricks wrong, so let's pop back out and see what we can do.
Yeah, and again, you know, part of this open alpha is to allow people to kind of learn how to use the tool. You know, it's because it's so unlike anything else that's been out there. You know, we really, you know, we're looking to get feedback. You know, the last thing we want to do is kind of the typical game industry thing where we go away, develop something for years on end, and then release it, and suddenly people are like, oh, well, that's not very useful.
Okay. Oh, see, I put all these bricks on the player and not on Arno. So
okay, if you're very careful, you should be able to grab and drag and drop the bricks. So take the just drop right there. Of course, if you make him a zombie, he's gonna act. He's gonna act very different.
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
I wanted the player
he'll
to be.
He'll spread his zombiness.
Yeah, you can't make the player a zombie.
Oh, you can't make the player a zombie. Okay. Well, we need
Zombie was a representation for us. We wanted to show how interactions could spread, how if somebody's happy and having a good day, they could come upon somebody else and make them happy and have a good day. But how do you represent happiness? You know, it's not. There's no real idol for happy. So what we did is we used zombie, because zombie's infectious like happiness would be. And so if you create somebody and give them zombie as an emotion, then you can watch zombie to spread through your entire village.
Very interesting. So, put him as a zombie. So now I have a noble in there, and he is a zombie.
Yep. You're gonna have to be careful because he's gonna turn other people into zombies, and then the zombie condition basically overrides a lot of the other behaviors. So,
okay.
It's interesting to look at, but maybe not so awesome for storytelling. Another thing you can do, like if you want to, you know, so you can also make that a trigger.
Okay.
If you go down, add a new brick, and then do the first time this happens, and then do the player. Click on the subject. The player.
The player greets the noble.
Okay. Yeah, interacts or is near, whichever. And now there's another brick that is near.
Okay.
So go ahead and right-click the is, and that should get rid of it. Yeah, there you go. All the way down to the bottom is near. Is near. Yeah. Make a. What is it, Connor? Yeah. And then you can take that whole grab the Connor brick up above, and then drag that into the second.
Oh, target subject. Gotcha. Well,
yeah.
I ruined the block by doing that. I can redo it though.
Yeah. No, it's intended to be kind of quick and easy for you to recreate things like that. Yeah, obviously, you know, again, you know, this is still very early. We have a lot of polishing on the user interface to do. You know, the big thing that all of us internally want is an undo.
Yeah. No, I mean, for what it is right now, it's very, you know, it takes a few minutes to get into it. But once you figure out, you know, I guess the language, is relatively easy to start dragging and dropping things. So let's go in here and see if actually Connor now turns into a zombie when we walk up to him. Because I did actually watch a couple videos, and I saw that there was one where a player had walked up to a wizard, and the wizard was not necessarily friendly, and the wizard sent a zombie guard after him. Let's see, let's go after Connor. Oh.
So you have to get pretty close to him, or a zombie. Basically go
bump there he is.
There he
goes. There we go. And so now you see he's going to shamble toward other people. Oh god, he's going to shamble toward me and make me a zombie.
Well, you know, it is what it is, good sir. If there was combat, I could kill him before he got to you and made you a zombie.
Yeah.
So one of the really neat features that we made for this alpha, if you'll back out to the story, just the story itself, and go to pick a story to play. Brian, what's the name of your story?
The story I created was Stereotypes.
Okay.
Stereotypes?
Find stereotypes. But don't enter the story yet.
Okay.
So notice where it says share. Click on the share button. And what you receive there is a URL that you can send to any friend or anybody through email or Twitter or whatever. And then they can come and they can drop directly into that story and play it. They'll have to download the small download that we have in the Unity plugin. But so it's an automatic way to share your stories with somebody. So if you played Stereotypes, which Brian did a really great job with, and you enjoyed it and thought, hey, I want to show this off, you don't have to worry about being a great creator. You can just think it's a neat tool and send it around and show people just by sharing the URL. Very
cool. I tried to paste it into the chat room so people in chat could hop in, but it didn't copy to the clipboard the way I thought it would.
You've got to copy it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no easy way to manipulate the clipboard since Unity is kind of a cross-platform plugin.
Okay, something didn't like. I got a little.
There you go.
Alrighty. Something in my computer right now is not happy. Sorry for the delay.
Nah, that's fine. It always works that way. But yeah, that's kind of one of the features we really wanted to get to is allow people to share their own, create their own stories and then share them with their friends, and then that helps that helps us get more people involved and interested in it, and also as people create their own stories, then we get good feedback. And one of the options when you hit escape and go to the menu is to provide feedback, and that's just a little form right in the game that will basically give us emails us feedback. So if you find a bug or you say, hey, wouldn't it be great if you had female characters, then we'll get that feedback.
It's simply a web page. If you need to, you can refresh it and see if that clears your cursor.
Yes. It's not limited to this screen, though. It's something...
Ah.
It's the pornography in the back.
Yeah, no, unfortunately. Unfortunately not that. I'm just trying to figure out what it is. Something's conflicting. When I tried to paste the link into the chat is when it decided that it didn't like that. So I don't know if Justin got mad at me or who did. So I'm going to kill Explorer here real quick and hopefully that'll solve the problem. And before people scream at me, no, it's not Explorer. It's just a web browser.
Yeah, so you guys mentioned before how we had a lot of good advisors. A couple of advisors we're working with is Richard Bartle. He actually helped create the first text mud, which is the basis of all the MMORPGs we play today. So he's been advising us on a lot of the in addition to my experience, he's been lending his experience for MMORPG development. We also have Chris Avalone from Obsidian. You might know him. He recently got involved in the Wasteland 2 Kickstarter project. But he's actually, because of his work on Planescape Torment, since we want to deal a lot with storytelling in games.
Love that game.
We basically sought him out and asked him to basically be an advisor for storytelling for us. We also have, obviously, like we mentioned before, Don Bluth and Gary Goldman, some old school Disney animators, and they are going to help us with the animation. Liz Danforth, another wonderful advisor. She's the artist helping us with the art angle. Are we also missing Kelly? That's kind of the big names.
No, I don't think so.
We've got a couple of other academics, people that have worked a lot in AI. Michael Matthias is the one that some people might be familiar with. he released a game called Facade some years ago, and then more recently he released a game called Prom Week. It's a social game on Facebook that basically deals a lot with some of the similar stuff we're doing. Like, it's set in a high school, so it's a lot about emotions and people interacting, trying to find dates for the prom and whatnot.
Okay. Well, I got it back up and going.
Cool.
So
This is my story.
So with this one, if you just
This
go
is your
interact
story?
with if you interact with the NPCs, it'll get just moving on the story.
I look, I'm happy. I'm sauntering. Farquaad?
Yeah. We kind of just picked some names at random. I think some of them are. You go ahead and greet him, and he'll give you a little, basically because he's the thief. But if you converse with him, you'll find out that actually he just stole something once by accident. So he's kind of upset about being a thief. But if you offer your help, say, oh hey, I got your diamond for my sword of power. So if you click on him again, and you've got a diamond in your inventory, you see. So click on him again, and give diamond. Turns out he actually was a thief.
Thank you for getting me ripped off. Within meeting you, within a half-hour meeting you've already gotten me stolen from.
I'm taking your diamond.
I appreciate it.
Here we have
Now Barry's screwed because I'm not going to want to help Barry because I helped the thief first. He just set himself up.
Friendly noble, remember?
Yeah.
The friendly noble.
So you've only hung a couple peasants today. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So
There we go.
but yeah, if you converse with him, you'll find out that just because he looks like a grandfather doesn't mean he's kindly. So he's kind of telling you to
He
go
shoot
away.
me off, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he's not quite so friendly a noble.
Ask about a diamond. Oh, I don't have one.
I can't help you with that. I know nothing. Check's definitely not in the mail.
Yeah.
So here we have what we call the corrupt guard. But he's asking if I took bribes, would I look so shabby?
Probably. You don't want anybody else to find out.
Of course, he knows nothing about the diamond either.
Try converse. Try converse. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Or you can offer help, and he'll find out that he's actually kind of interested in that potion.
Oh. Well, let's give him the potion. Oh, that's the stuff.
So it turns out that he may not be corrupt, but he is a bit of an alcoholic.
Yeah, he's got some issues. He's gonna have to go to a meeting later on.
Issues.
Yeah. Let's see who we got in the background here. Gwen.
Oh, yeah, he's the wealthy merchant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we already talked to him then.
He's a wealthy merchant that likes to wander off.
Yeah, he gets around. For an old man, he's sure he's got some moves.
But yeah, so this is just kind of a quick little story that I created, just kind of poke fun at some of the stereotypes of it. But like I said before, we kind of picked this very kind of intentionally general fantasy setting because we wanted people to be able to tell their own stories. Because it's kind of a storybook type setting. It's something where people can kind of people are familiar with fairy tales and whatnot. They can kind of create their own stories very easily. We were worried about trying to create an original world, especially in a short amount of time. It's really hard to flesh it out. But also, when you have an original world, it takes a lot of effort on the part of the player to understand it in order to make stories that fit within it. So by kind of taking a very general fantasy setting and relying essentially on stereotypes, you were able to allow the player to kind of get in there and create stories easier. But of course, I kind of like to poke fun at stereotypes.
Who doesn't? No, it's obviously it's going to be very community driven. That being said, that you just released the alpha today, do you guys have any kind of a timeline or goal set that you want to meet, especially in something like this that's going to be very community driven? Because now it's out there and everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only going to be available for a few more weeks.
Yeah. So we have the Kickstarter project going on for Storybricks, and we got 21 days left on that. So basically, we're going to keep this up during that time, and then in basically starting in about August, we're looking at getting an alpha version, basically continuing this alpha version with more features in it, and then looking at November, then we're looking at a beta where we're going to add more people to it. Something that's going to be a lot more established. And then basically February of next year, we're hoping to kind of get a final version of this. Basically it's going to be much expanded. It's still going to be kind of this generic fantasy setting, but we're going to be looking at basically having a larger world for people to play in, maybe being able to create, almost certainly be able to create their own terrain, their own cities, their own locations. There might be a way to tie different stories together. So if I write a story and then you write a story, maybe there'll be some kind of portal between the two stories. We're still looking at a lot of different options. And then after we release this in February, we're looking at developing our own game, our own larger game of something, maybe an original fantasy setting or maybe some other setting.
Okay. You mentioned editing. Will I be able to edit, like someone, let's say that a group of us are working on a project, or a group of us would like to work on a project, and one person, gets it going and is having trouble figuring out how to do a certain executable, and they want, person B to work on it. Is there a way that I can share my story to be edited by multiple people? Or, can I just give them that link? Because I know I can play other people's stories, but can other people edit my stories?
For this alpha, I was to say, for this alpha, you're only able to play other people's stories, but we know that people are going to be good. Some people at creating, canned characters, other people at creating interactions and emotional dialogue and things like that. So, yeah, you'll definitely be able to work with other people on building it. It's just a matter of, building that feature into it. But for this particular alpha, the goal was to get it out there and just show people exactly what we mean. Because one of our biggest problems has been this isn't a game as traditionally known, nor is it an MMO as anybody would define it. And so we're hoping to have other people even help us define what to call it.
I can't help you with what to call it at the moment.
Yeah. Well, and that's definitely been one of the issues we run into, because we originally called it a tool set, but people thought it was something. They kind of assumed it was going to be something like Neverwhere Nights, but it's not really like Neverwhere Nights. And people, we didn't want to necessarily call it an MMORPG because we don't have the resources to make a WoW, the infamous WoW killer. So
yeah,
we've been if we just call it a game, then people have different expectations.
Yeah.
Really, that's one of the reasons why we kind of released this this alpha, is to allow people to kind of get a taste of it, to understand what they can kind of get hands-on experience, and they can kind of define what they think it is themselves.
Storybricks, the MMO maker. That's a broccoli eater. He suggested to call it the MMO maker.
Yeah. Well, like I said, even MMO maker is kind of a might give people kind of a wrong impression, where we really it's not necessarily make your own MMO, it's kind of tell your own stories within an MMO.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to talk about the let's bring up your Kickstarter page. You got 21 days to go, and you're going to leave the alpha up for the duration of the Kickstarter.
Yep.
What happens if you don't? Obviously we hope that you make the goal. What happens if you don't? Is Storybricks going to continue on, or is there a plan?
As best we can. We kind of feel. The reason why we started the Storybricks campaign is that we got some. We're a venture capital backed company. We got some enthusiastic investors initially, and we kind of bought into our vision. But we noticed that as we talked to more and more investors, they tend to be very skittish because, frankly, a lot of them don't understand games. It used to be, especially with the large success of World of Warcraft, a lot of people were able to say, "Oh, we're going to make a World of Warcraft killer on a half the budget."
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of investors kind of bought into that, unfortunately, and so it's kind of a once bitten, twice shy type thing. So they got very skittish about MMOs, and so as we've kind of tried to explain what we're doing here, they really haven't understood what we're doing, and so we created the Kickstarter project to kind of go directly to the players, and hopefully get them excited about it. And like I said, this open alpha is basically our way of getting people in there so they can play it firsthand, themselves, and kind of get enthusiastic about it. Tell their friends and share it with them, and basically ideally find a lot of backers. But what we're looking at, even if we don't make our target, I mean, I'm not going to say that everything will be fine. Obviously, we're still going to have to work hard. But this is our goal. We've been working on this for several months now. We're gonna do the best we can. But obviously, having money is better than not having money. So.
Oh no, I totally understand. I just wanted to make sure that, or try and clear up if, you've seen a lot of people lately where it's kind of like doing a tech demo through Kickstarter. I just wanted to make sure that if you guys didn't achieve your goal, that there's still a possibility that we would see,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we've been working on with a very limited budget and very limited resources for a long time. So, it's not the death of us if the Kickstarter thing doesn't go through. Hopefully, but
well,
again, it's better to focus on the positive.
No, I totally agree with you. Hey, speaking of positives, I'm back into actually the Storybrick portion of it, building a little script. Is there anything else that you wanted to take the time to share to the audience, or make sure that there wasn't any kind of point that you wanted to highlight we were missing?
I can think of. I think one thing, if you could hit escape real quick, if people go in and take a look at this, the one thing is the provide feedback button. Like I said before, feedback is incredibly important. That will basically send an email to our engineers, that they collate it and get information back to us. So if there's any ideas, any thoughts, or any bugs you run into, please definitely make sure that you give us feedback. We really appreciate it. It's really helpful. And then the other thing is, if you create a story, definitely share it. Get the URL, share it with your friends, get them in there. Talk to them a bit, show them the video of this live stream, or we have a video like a very quick tutorial video about the alpha gameplay on our Kickstarter site. Try it out. Without the fans, like I said, we don't want to do the typical game industry thing where we create something in isolation. We really live or die depending on our fans. So get in there, let us know what you think. We're very excited about this. Obviously, we've been, like I said again, we've been working on this for months. So we, at this point, we really want to kind of communicate that excitement to other people, and and get back.
I think you guys have got a great idea, and it's a way for people to express their creativity that don't know code or aren't 3D artists, and I think it's going to offer a medium for a lot of people that aren't just MMO players to gather and create their own stories and express themselves, and even if it's at an introductory level for them. So
yeah, I mean, one of our main motivations, and so the lead designer Stefan Bora is a French game designer, but don't hold that against him. But he actually has a background in tabletop games, and then I'm a big fan of tabletop games. I played tabletop games in university. My significant other, we actually met playing Dungeons and Dragons in university. I was playing a dwarven fighter cleric, and she was playing an elven thief. So it was obviously love at first sight. But I think that when I played text mods in college, I really envisioned that this would be a great way to get real role playing, the role playing that you get around the tabletop game into a shared world where you have not just the 6 or a dozen or however many people you have sitting around a table, but you have hundreds of people, thousands of people, and it's been really frustrating to me to see MMOs. Again, I love MMOs, and I ran one for several years, but it's been frustrating that we've kind of been locked into one single model, and then I really wanted to see us do a lot more storytelling with role playing and that angle, and I think that Storybricks is kind of the realization of that long-term goal that I've had.
All right, I'm trying to figure out a way to get my character to interact with Kelly, and apparently I can show emotion. I will be respectful of Kelly. I'm going to go back in. I'm really, it's grabbed my interest. I think it's very novel idea that you guys have here, and it's not something that I've seen really anywhere else as far as, I can't really think of it.
Well, and that's I think you mentioned before, that's been kind of one of our problems, is that it's really hard to communicate what it is, and so it is so different, and it's very exciting. Like I said, we've been focusing on this for so long. Getting other people in there and hearing other people be excited about it is very, very important to us.
Let's see if I actually did it right. I'll have both of you in the game. Oh, Connor just came and tried to attack me. Oh, he's a zombie.
He's a zombie, so everybody's going to become a zombie.
Oh,
here he comes. He's going to zombify me.
There you go. we can just call it Zombie Maker.
Yep.
So, well, I really appreciate your time, and unless there's anything else that you guys want to bring up, I'm going to go ahead and...
definitely check out the Kickstarter project. If you're interested in chatting more about Storybricks, we have some forums. We have a lot of kind of active and enthusiastic people. Also, developers read the forums. It's forums.storybricks.com. And then, play.storybricks.com. If you go there, then you'll be able to play this directly.
Yeah, it's play.storybricks.com, and there's a link to the forums. There's a link to the feedback, and there's a link to the Kickstarter all right here, and I'll put that link in the chat channel for anybody that wants it. And I also put a link to the Kickstarter in the chat channel for you as well. So if anybody wants to go there, they're more than welcome.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we absolutely, at this point we need enthusiastic people support. If you think that storytelling and if you like to see more storytelling, more role playing, more depth, more emotion to MMOs, your support is much appreciated.
All right. Well, thanks, chat channel. I appreciate your guys' time.